Yes, it's Friday and it is the final curtain call before the Bahrain Grand Prix. Let's get into it all. Lewis Hamilton has already indicated his Mercedes team are sitting adrift of Red Bull racing going into week 1 of the new season. Pundits across the sport have already indicated that the Silver Arrows of Mercedes have looked a little off the pace compared to the reigning Constructors and Drivers' Championship counterparts. But the most damning verdict may well be coming from the man behind the wheel at the team, with Hamilton indicating that he and his pit wall know where the car is lacking despite a far better foundation to build on compared to last year, yet there is a gap in performance between them and the title favourites. There is a gap, admitted Hamilton. You'll see that over the next day or so. I'm not going to say what it is because we don't truly know, but it's definitely not insignificant. Perhaps a former Mercedes driver, albeit under the banner of McLaren Mercedes, can lift the lid a little on why the team are struggling under drift of Red Bull at this point, as Mika Häkkinen has waded into the pre-season performance talks. The Finnish driver and former world champion has estimated that perhaps the team hasn't learnt from their mistakes last year, speculating if they have completely understood what went wrong in 2022. The turnover of personnel this winter at Mercedes could also be having a detrimental effect, with the likes of now Williams team boss James Vowles, a former key cog in the Mercedes system, taking roles elsewhere. The impact of these losses is one Häkkinen is wary of when it comes to the team's ability to execute and compete this year. It has a huge impact, said Häkkinen. Good people can't be replaced just like that, and I'm sure that's their weak spot at the moment. Either way, we'll find out this weekend, although Hamilton might want to avoid Häkkinen over the next few days, with Mika believing that George Russell has a path to success at Mercedes, and perhaps the young driver will soon become the #1 man with the German constructor. Other championship hopefuls, and Charles Leclerc is staying optimistic when it comes to Ferrari's chances this season, with the Monegasque driver believing his team can catch Red Bull this year, despite, like Mercedes, the Scuderia being off the pace of the reigning champions. Tyre degradation and raw speed have been high for Ferrari during pre-season testing, an indication that pace is there for a Saturday run in qualifying, but race pace may run into some trouble over the long distances. But even if the Scuderia are behind their rivals at the moment, testing was certainly not a dead loss for the team, with Leclerc indicating that the optimal window for the car to operate in was found despite the problem of multiple setups that the drivers had to deal with over the first 2 days in Bahrain. And once that was sorted, the team could focus on balancing the car. Now the Scuderia is focused on closing the gap to those ahead of them on track. Even if we are starting a little bit on the back foot compared to them, Red Bull, in terms of performance, I'm sure that we can come back, said Leclerc this week. Ferrari's 2022 campaign was ruined by user error as much as anything else, and the mistakes made last season will need to be cleaned up under new boss Fred Vasseur, with Leclerc admitting that the team have been very frank and open in their assessment of last year and where it all went wrong. There were too many mistakes in 2022, and we know that. We've been very honest with ourselves about 2022 in order to get better for this season, and I'm sure we will. And that's it. We are ready for the first weekend of the season. Red Bull are the favourites, but will Perez and Verstappen's relationship stay clean for the remainder of the calendar? Ferrari and Mercedes have ground to make up on their rivals. Aston Martin and Alonso are the wild cards, and Lance Stroll is set to be in the car this weekend. The new rookies are on the grid and ready to go, and pre-race press conferences are done on a chat show sofa style. Not sure about that one. Let us know your thoughts on that, and of course predictions for the season down below in the comments section. Remember, news across the weekend on GPFans.com and GPFans Global across social media. Let's go.